So the idea that, the overall philosophy of Nysperience is that anybody should be able to come in and play games that they like, right? And play whatever genres they like, play whatever specific types of interactions they like, focus on what they like to in games, and then have the value that they, create in the game be applicable, within this overall financial ecosystem. So we have this concept of businesses where people can build businesses and they use components from different games. Like the solitaire game creates a token called Legisent, which represents legal points, in the analogy of the business. We have Obstinate, which represents like marketing points, things like that. You can play, Sudoku, which is an accounting kind of feel of a game to get accounting points, things like that. And so there's a whole bunch of different games, lots of different ways to play, lots of ways to interact. Casual games, strategic games, solitaire and Sudoku, to more just kind of simple tap games. To there's a few genre that is referred to as rage games that are very hard but fulfilling when you finally get them. And the plan, we should probably talk about this a little bit, but the plan to bring in more licensed games into this ecosystem. So that's the main thing we're building then, is this digital financial ecosystem where all of the different types of assets that you can create and all the different types of activities that one can do all meld into one financial ecosystem that just has a lot of flow and interactions across a lot of disparate people and activities. So if you look at all of the games that sit on top of the digital financial ecosystem, the DFE is what we call it internally. It's almost like the games are kind of the tip of the iceberg, and this financial design is the iceberg itself, the majority, that's underwater that you can't see. And so, building this platform where you can bring in more and more games, more and more activities, that's the thing that I think is going to be, really a dramatic change to what else is out there in the traditional game industry, or even in the blockchain gaming industry. X Infinity has SLP, which you use to create axes, and then they have their token, which is kind of separate from the game, but it's one game, one type of interface. And it doesn't, really interact across other games. Then you even have like metaverse types applications, and they might have more activities, but it's not quite, I think, as robust as the DFE is in bringing together all of these disparate, concepts. So I'm proud of what we've been building, and I think probably the closest thing is Roblox. I think that's a good example that's similar to what we've done, because they have one kind of token, Robux, that's consistent across all the different activities, and then different activities you can go into that activity and have your own, kind of interactions, earn, points for building a building in one of their games, things like that. But I think we're taking even that another step further, where you really are emphasizing, having game, cross platform, cross interaction types of tokens that create a lot of flow in an ecosystem. So bigger games have publishers and developers, and the publisher owns the game. The publisher sells the assets in the game, and the publisher makes the upside. And if the game's a hit, the publisher makes all its money. In a play to own game or a play to earn game, you have to design it where the players are getting the lion's share of the upside and the revenue. And it is a different mentality and a model, and a different way to design a game. And I've really enjoyed embracing that and building the game around kind of that overall fundamental premise. And so I think it's going to be one of the biggest upcoming categories across all of gaming. Again, not just blockchain gaming, but so you have this big chicken egg. How do you get a million units out if you don't have a bunch of big games? How do you get a bunch of big games if you don't have a million units out, right? And so, like any entrepreneur, I wish I knew then what I know now. It took me a couple years to develop that licensing model, but over time got to a point where I worked from small to medium to big publishers, and licensed games all the way up to, Tiger Woods Golf, Madden Football, NBA Live, Need for Speed, Mass Effect, Battlefield series, Half-Life 2, Left 4 Dead, Team Fortress 2, Dirt, Grid. Some of those are some of the biggest game franchises of all time, and we licensed those games, got full source access to them, and then we published over 100 games ourselves, and publish them for our platform. So I don't know of anybody else in the world that's done that. I don't know of anybody else that's licensed all the way up to kind of that level of game. And there was a little closet in Albuquerque, New Mexico, that had source code to all of these big publishers' games all sitting in the same spot. It was pretty neat. And so it was a good model. I learned a lot. I learned how to talk to publishers. So now, fast forward, we're coming out with an experience game. We're building this digital financial ecosystem, and you're seeing that the biggest problem in the whole blockchain gaming space is just a lack of quality games. And I'd also would add that the entities out there that are trying to build AAA level games from scratch, that's very hard. It's kind of infamous in the traditional gaming space how hard that is. So what we're looking to do then is take that licensing model that I learned in my first business, license games similar to what I did before, move it over to a new platform. In this case, it's to a blockchain platform where the assets in your inventory or whatever you earn go into the blockchain. Take proven content and reduce almost all of the risk, the main risk that goes with developing your own games. We're taking games that already are proven, that have a lot of users, and then moving them into our ecosystem. And so it's more and more that people can play whatever games they want. Play, so one of the things that's exciting is we have a particular set of games that we're looking to license. We're in great negotiations on it. There's a MOBA game, a fighting game, RPG. There's a number of games that cover genres that we don't already have covered, and these games that we're looking to license. So there's no promises on it, so I don't want to overstate it, but I feel like I can take what I've learned before in my licensing in one way or another, license games, whether it's these or someone else. But these particular games have had over 400 million downloads that we're looking to license. So I mean, geez, if we license that library, start bringing those in, have a whole bunch of people that love the games that want their games back. They haven't been off the market for very long, so they're modern, great graphics games that have had, again, hundreds of millions of users. Start bringing that into our digital financial ecosystem. I mean, that's huge. So we probably will only touch like 1% of the code base. If we port a game, and all the other work, all the level design, all the graphics, the characters, the animations, the 3D models, the 3D environments, all of that, stays the same. And so it's a pretty inexpensive way, again, to get tried and true, proven content into the digital financial ecosystem, but really is on the other hand, a fundamentally improved and new type of interaction. You play a game that you used to love, now you play a game that you love, that you earn items that you could sell in the glass block marketplace, for example. This is also very significant for me. Is Where we've been looking at our advertising. And so we've been, over the past, it's been a while, we've been honing this for us. So it's been over 9 months that we've been building our own ads. We found a great agency that makes viral ads. They've been doing a really nice job. And so we've been putting out these ads, A/B testing them, getting them out, seeing what works and what doesn't work. And in that process of honing, we got to a pretty high click-through rate. Um, we took a big effort to get onto mobile. I can describe that a little bit more, but just for the purpose of this story, we did a lot of work to get onto mobile. And with the game now on mobile, we can actually see the conversion rate. And so our customer acquisition cost is on the order of 20 cents, and much cheaper than even that, in places like India, for example. And so that's, I mean, that's somewhere between a tenth and a 30th of what you normally expect to pay for a customer acquisition cost. And it's very indicative of the demand for this type of interaction. The idea that you can play and earn items and be having fun, but also have your effort move towards something, and then put real effort into it, where it is admittedly more work, but you're doing something that you can actually earn, some real money off of.